welcome to Fitness Training Solutions YouTube channel. This is the second episode of our Anatomy and Physiology Level 3. Now today we're going to talk about the nervous system. So with the nervous system, what does it do? Well, the main function is to control all the actions within our bodily systems. So the idea is to maintain what we like to call homeostasis. So that's the homeostasis is basically keeping our body at an equal level so that we can maintain and function efficiently. Now with the nervous system, you have different types of inputs and outputs. So you have a sensory input to sense changes inside and outside of the body. We also have an interpretation element of the nervous system. So the interpretation is help to analyse and interpret incoming information. The motor output is to respond to the information by activating the relevant body systems. So how does it work? Well, the nervous system structure is just here. So first of all, we start with the central nervous system, which is the brain. So this is our command centre. This is what's going to tell us what we need to do. It's going to give us the answers. But before it does that, it needs to have information. Now the information comes from the peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system is almost like our messenger. So the messenger sends a signal up to the brain, and the brain, who is the king or the queen, says, right, this is what we're going to do. It sends a signal back down through the peripheral nervous system and tells the body what it needs to do. There's two other branches that you can see in this diagram here as well. And this is the somatic nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. So to recap, first thing, the central nervous system. So this is the brain and the spinal cord. So the brain's going to receive information from the peripheral nervous system and it's going to start to interpret this information. It's then going to send out the correct motor response of exactly what we needed to do. So we're going to break this down even further now. So as you've seen, I've already explained about somatic and autonomic, or I've at least explained the words and how to pronounce them. So let's talk about the middle one, the peripheral nervous system. So this receives incoming and outgoing signals via different nerves. Now the two nerves that you want to look at are our afferent nerves and our efferent nerves. So the afferent nerves are sensory neurons that carry information about changes, whereas the efferent nerves carry information about the required response to a change. So if you look at this diagram here, we can make this into what we call ACE, so afferent, central nervous system and efferent. So basically what happens is our peripheral nervous system senses something that's going on. It sends that signal via the afferent nerve to the central nervous system. The central nervous system interprets the information, and then what happens from there is it then sends a signal back through the efferent nerve of the peripheral nervous system to give the correct information and response to what that action needs to be. So, breaking it down via the two autonomic and somatic nervous systems. Now, when you're looking at the somatic nervous system, that's the branch of the PNS system, the peripheral nervous system, that is concerned with changes in external environments. So it senses movement, touch, pain, skin, temperature, etc. And it's under our consciousness. Whereas the autonomic system is not in our consciousness. So it's going to pull on other energy sources. So for example, it will pull on the endocrine glands to secrete hormones to help with a response. So for example, the somatic response. If I said to you, I'm going to touch something and I pull my arm up straight away, is that an autonomic response or somatic response? Well, most people say that was automatic, because what you're doing is you're getting it confused with the actual words itself. So if you look at autonomic, an autonomic is completely different to automatic, so that's where you usually get it wrong straight away. Somatic would be the correct answer, because somatic is in our consciousness. So anything to do with temperature, touch, movement, any of those senses, they're going to be in our consciousness. So although it was an automatic response, I'm able to decide whether I want to pull my hand back or not. Now, if we look at something that's not in our consciousness, that's going to be in a way of secreting hormones. So for example, with the autonomic system branches off a little bit further into sympathetic nerves and parasympathetic nerves. So the sympathetic nerves increase your heart rate, they're going to increase your rate of breathing as well. Where the parasympathetic nerves are a response to decreasing your activity levels and making you feel more calm. Now it's important to remember, to maintain our homeostasis, you need your somatic nerves, your sympathetic nerves and your parasympathetic nerves to continue work together to maintain that homeostasis. Now, when we are going further into this, let's say we look at our endocrine glands. So for example, if we were looking at a sympathetic response to having an argument, for example, if you've ever had an argument with someone, the first thing you do is you increase your heart rate. Your heart rate starts increasing. Your body responds by the fight or flight response. So what will happen is the body will pull on adrenaline from the adrenals to give you that fight or flight response. And the only way you can get yourself out of that situation is you calm the situation down through not arguing. You leave the situation, you get out of there, so you take flight, and that will help kick in your parasympathetic nerves. And in that way, you will help maintain your balance. Some people like to sit down and take calm of the situation. So to recap, when you're looking at the nervous system, you're looking at this diagram here, the structure, central nervous system, the peripheral nervous system, which branches out to somatic and autonomic. The autonomic system branches out to the parasympathetic and sympathetic nerves, which fight together to maintain homeostasis. Read through your manuals, read through your books, give some of the questions a go on the website, and if you've got any questions, please give us a like, click below, and check out our next video log. Speak to you soon.